Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. I am Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And it is my pleasure to be here with you today. I got a fabulous guest named Eva. We're going to tell you more about Eva. But one thing I like to share with you is if you like the show, please subscribe and share the show with everyone you love and care about. We come here to create a sacred space for discussing wellness, wisdom, and wealth, and how we can have these things flow into our lives easily and effortlessly. So before we get diving in, I want you to all to find a place to sit. If you haven't already subscribe, grab a piece of paper, pencil, something to write with, your favorite beverage, and take a few moments for yourself to embrace the wisdom and the nugget of gold that our guest today is going to share with you all. And while you do that, I also want you to know that each week we dive into soulful conversations with powerhouse guests like Eva. And these people that I'm bringing to you redefine success. They share with you how to live your life on purpose and how you can do that and light the way for others. And so if you're ready to elevate your life, unlock your potential, and step into your divine abundance, then you're in the right place. So while you're getting situated with what I gave my instructions for you to find a place to sit, let me take care of business. I want to thank our first sponsor, the Blissful Living for You company at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. They have a wealth of information on how you can figure out what your dosha, your unique body type is, how you ebb and flow in life, and how it's always unique to you, and as well as how you can really have wellness, wisdom, and wealth in your life on books and all kind of fabulous products and specials that they have been going on. So if you want to elevate your wellness, wisdom, and wealth, then you want to check out Blissful Living at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. And you can also check out this show by clicking on the link on that website as well. The next sponsor is All Day Cable Incorporated, a telecommunication installation company located in Silicon Valley. They've been in business since 1990, and they service small, medium, and large corporations. And they do voice, fiber, and data cable installation, as well as setting up your complete network distribution from the phone, well, back in the day, from the phone, but from your access points to your monitors, whatever you're doing with regards to telecommunications, they can hook you up. You should check them out at alldaycableinc.com. All righty. So let me tell you a little bit about the guest. She's fabulous. Of course, you know. Her company is the Elevate Institute, and Eva Vennari supports high achievers who are called to change the world and heal humanity. Founder of the Elevate Institute, she has combined ancient healing practices with the best of today's science to ease and simplify your mission on a driven path. And today we're talking about living in purpose, tied to vitality. Welcome to the show, Eva. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Is there any other way to be?
Yeah, so you know.
Oh, I do.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, is it appropriate? Should I call you Rev Eva or what?
No,
Do you prefer?
Eva is fine. Yes.
Okay, Eva Marie. So thank you for being a guest on the show. And I want to jump in and give the listeners as much information and wisdom as well as those viewers. So let me ask you this first question. How does one know, this I guess is going to be twofold, that they're not living in purpose? And then I want you to share with us how they know they're living in purpose. So how do they know that they're not living in purpose is my first question.
It's easier to see than we think because it feels like the universe has hit us over the head with a huge 2x4 and disrupted our entire world. And we keep thinking, I think I have my fair share, if not more, problems to solve. And so when you feel that way, yeah, that's a good sign. Then the other is we develop chronic illnesses that we think are unrelated, and we kind of wake up with something new, a new headache, a new stiffness, a new I can't do that anymore. And we think this must be my new me and my new normal. And I'm here to say does not have to be. So that's what it feels like and looks like, when we're out of purpose and out of alignment. On the flip side, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's about being in flow. And when I think about the difference between, because I described my past experience before knowing truly what my purpose was and living in it and being aligned with it. Once I was aligned, it's things happen in a way that I could not have orchestrated better myself. The universe has your back. You have the feeling of the wind in your sails as a nice metaphor. You feel like you're moving in the right direction. You get the chills when things are in alignment. You get the static when they're not. And this is the intuitive's journey.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I like that. I like how you shared about, the aspects of when you're not living in purpose and versus when you are living in purpose. And so I think a lot of times people think they've been dealt a bad hand of cards when they're going through, when they're in the I don't even want to say the desert, when they're down and out, right? In the pits, I want to say the pits of like just feeling like crap. They think they've been dealt a lot of, bad cards. They have a bad hand. But sometimes we're the cause of that.
Yeah.
And so when we come back from the break, I want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important for people to become aware of things that they may not think is right here causing their struggles.
Yeah.
So we will be right back to share that important information with Miss Eva. All righty, this is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and we are on the Blissful Living Show, and we're talking to Eva about living with purpose and when we're not in alignment. And so, Eva, can you share with us, because before we went for the break, can you share with us why is it so easy for us to feel like when we're not living in purpose? For one, we don't really know it. But two, we feel like we've been dealt a bad hand of cards. Why is that so easy for us to grasp, whether besides, not understanding it's a lesson in this for us to learn?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a natural and default thing to immediately go, oh, crud, this doesn't look right, especially when the guidance that we've received so far doesn't really serve us. So there's this point. I like to use this. I use a lot of metaphors. And so I want to use this one. I live in Los Angeles, and going to Las Vegas is and then going to Vegas is a 4-hour drive from my house. Halfway through, there is this dump of a town. So sorry from all of you who are from there, but Barstow. It is an armpit. So we want to.
I'm from the Bay Area, girl. So yeah, I know.
So we even if we're living in what we think is a purpose, we're listening to the messages we're receiving from spirit, that looking at our dreams and interpreting them and trying to stay in focus with what's true for us and feeling the resonance and going, I know I'm living in purpose. We get to a place sometimes when we've reached Barstow and we wondered why we haven't arrived at Vegas yet. Sometimes, yes, we're doing things wrong, but really, oftentimes, it's just we're halfway there. It's not done yet. The journey has more to go. And this is an opportunity for us to listen to all the contrast of Barstow and be thankful that we're halfway there instead of looking instead of looking at what we don't like about Barstow. Fill up, get your drink, get your food, move on. That's what we need to do.
So I'm going to take it even further. So, so there's Barstow. Okay, where you're feeling like, oh man, I've been dealt the wrong cards. I'm trying to do everything right, and it seems like the more I try to do or I perceive, I'm making the correct decisions based on how I'm perceiving what is happening around me. Okay, your choices, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm doggone it. I done went from Barstow to Death Valley. I'm really in the pits. And I think we all have been there at a point in time where stuff has happened. Yeah. And it's just right here, like these freckles on my face, but I can't see it and I can't understand the message behind it. And so sometimes it takes a while, but in the context of it taking a while for us, there are signs, like you say, that show that this is where we are and what we need to do to get out. So what is a surefire way that we can not only understand the message that's coming to us, but begin to look for those signs, quote, and symptoms of things we can do to correct living and being stuck in Barstow or Death Valley.
Yes, when we know we're in the wrong spot compared to where we want to be, and you feel like there's more. You feel like maybe there's a purpose that needs to be received yet. A little detail. Okay, turning left to go to Death Valley might have looked like a shortcut. However, that's like getting married because you think a man is a plan. Like, let's back up a minute. Not that they can't be good partners. I'm like, just don't give up your own purposes for that. So this is around find the person who, there's more than one way to finding out your purpose. So find that guide, someone who can give you confirmation. And this is part of what I do is I'm looking for reading what that contract with your creator was before you decided to take ownership of this beautiful body, right? And inhabit it and wield the powers that creates worlds with creator to be here and finish that purpose that you both agreed to. And that's written on you. It's part of your DNA. It's part of within you. And so if you can find the practitioner that can unlock that story for you, it can help a great deal. It made all the difference for me. And like I said, there's many ways to get there. I offer that service, and there are many others and many types. Some people find that in church. Some people find that in meditation. Some people, but if you want to amplify it, you want to get there faster, more easily, you want to take the blindfold off and stop playing pin the tail on the donkey, we can actually go in, get your blindfold and spun around, right? And shoved into a maze.
Years, girl. You
I know. We're going back.
Anymore? I'm done, but yeah. I'm sorry.
That's what it feels like when, okay, well, I guess I've got to meditate, or I guess I have to go, do a chakra clearing, or I guess I have to do Akashic record reading, or I guess there are surefire ways of unlocking what this code is, what's in your DNA, your contract with creator. And if you can find an individual like myself who does this work, then you can at least have the breadcrumbs, have the map, have some inclination, and then improve how you receive messages along the way.
I love that. There's so often times that just I come across people and they seem to be a little lost. They may be doing some great things in their life. They may be having success with their business. But when you engage in dialogue with them, they just seem to be, the only word I can just say to describe it is lost. They have that glaze in their eyes. Now, again, you got to be in tune to pay attention and see things that which is not obvious, because things that are which not obvious are the most deepest things that we need to pay attention to. And I equate that to when I was an emergency room trauma nurse. It was the patient that was the quietest in the emergency room trauma setting. That was the one you needed to pay attention to versus the one over here hollering, because they're in pain, they're dealing with something. But that person that's sitting there that might be having a heart attack and they're quiet or stroking out or a bleed or whatever it is, that's the one you need to pay attention to. And so with regards to what you're sharing with us, it's enlightening to know that our purpose is in our DNA. It is. And so we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to Eva about how we can understand and see and how that purpose is really within us. We just need to be open up to the guidance, like her and others, to receive the roadmap, the blueprint to help us to live a better life. So we'll be right back, y'all. Okay, it's Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, here with the fabulous Eva. And we're talking about the purpose, our purpose, and how to live with our purpose and find where it is in our DNA and how we can do that with the guidance of those particular people that are experts in that. So Eva, can you share with us, if someone, first of all, there's got to be recognition that you're out of alignment, first of all. And we talked about how we can see that. But if that person that's out of alignment is looking to connect with someone who can help them see that what their purpose is in their DNA. How do they go about doing that?
It's a certification that is not available through your 4-year college degree. We're talking about ancient wisdom. That was part of my introduction. So the ancient wisdoms are they're passed down orally, person to person. It's like a mentorship for thousands of years. And this ancient work, people have heard of things like Reiki. That's been passed down for thousands of years. They understand and feel that as a tradition that is passed down for healing. Same thing with acupuncture, same thing with acupressure, working with the energy systems of the body. This is right there in alignment with that. And what I'm doing as a practitioner for this, we call it the divinity code activation. We're actually tuning into and activating these codes within the body. And I get to, as a reader, I get to read those breadcrumbs. So you get clues. And this is your reading for the rest of your life. There could be some updates, but you just need to do it this one time to get the breadcrumbs. And once you receive it, you're like, wow, I'm not sure if that's right or not. I'm going to write that down. And then you revisit it every so often. And you go, oh my gosh, look at that. I accomplished the thing I had no clue about. And then 2 years later, there's another one. So it's a lifelong journey. It's not a race, right? But it is something you want to make sure you're familiar with. And then how to articulate your journey along the way. I guide that as well, but I don't tell you what to do. I'm just going to say, try this, try that,
Right. It's very, very interesting. I love how, for one, it's unique to each individual, right? So it kind of reminds me of Ayurveda. It's unique to each individual. It's not like in Western medicine where you go to the doctor, you have registered with high blood pressure. The last 40 patients that he gave the same high blood pressure medication, he's giving you the same thing, right? It's not like that. It's an individual. How can I say? It's unique to the individual essence of the person. And so I love that, because I do believe that we all are unique. Of course, some things you can give to 1,000 people and it'll work fabulous for them. But then there's those intricacies that make us also unique. How we look, how we express ourselves, how we receive things, how we process that. It's, and I'm going to say this code that you talked about. And so I want to ask you this with regards to the code and what our discussion is today. First of all, does everyone have a purpose? I guess is my first question. And then the second question is, beyond realizing that they have a purpose and connecting with someone like you that can open up the gateway to more reality for them, are there steps that they should take to maybe continue re-nurturing themselves with you, or something else that comes after this that helps solidify the progress and the processes that they? So, yes.
I'll start with that one, because it's always a get there and then, right? You get there to what you think is the destination. Oh, I wanted to do this. And then you get there and you realize there's a whole new vista to take in and to articulate for yourself. And that's been the case for me. As much as I learned, as much as I have studied, as much as because I'm a practitioner in mineral balancing science also, you could have imbalances that are affecting your spiritual journey that are mineral related, and the symptoms look much the same. So you can have something where you're chronically tired. You're like, Eva, I go to work every day. I've got 2 kids to raise. This is my situation. I have a side hustle. I am tired. I don't have time to find my purpose. Do you have a purpose? I don't know. Maybe that you haven't received that spiritual tap on the shoulder yet. But we can work with the physical body and support that and get that healing. Because if you give your body what it needs, it can heal itself. That's an old Eastern meditation. Yeah. And it's a belief, right? So I've tuned into that. And oftentimes that's the best place to start, because you can't run the energies of even completing receiving messages from your spirit guides, from whomever it is that you want to connect with on the other side of the veil. All of the unseen is there. You can't really have a clear channel if you're full of toxic metals. So it's twofold, and it's a lifelong mission. If we were given a manual that says, here's how to take care of your body when you were born, that would have been fabulous. I can give that to you now. So you have places to start. Let's get your fatigue taken care of, get the menopause so that it's more of a bloop rather than a this, you know. That's what it feels like, right? It can be. I've been through menopause twice, or I should say perimenopause, once when I was 28, and it was this because I was so out of balance, out of alignment, physically and spiritually. And then when I got that under control, I corrected it entirely and came out of infertility, along with chronic fatigue, anxiety, insomnia, depression, fibromyalgia, all gone. I know, all of it. And then now I'm going through perimenopause again, and it's just this little, boop, 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 you know, oh, I noticed things are different. That's fine. So does everyone have a purpose? If you feel that little, yes, we have a purpose. We're here in our body. One, are you feeling that sensation of, gosh, there must be something more I can do with my life? It could be that you raised your hand and volunteered before you came here, and your job is to remember that. That's our greatest gift. And it's our duty to remember who we are before we came here and grabbed one of these bodies, these flesh suits, our new homes. But there is such a vast universe of knowledge within each of us as a kernel of truth that says, yeah, I am here to heal humanity in my own special way. And that in and of itself will change the world because I'm changing me.
You know, when you were talking about just the purity and being able to understand the gift, it took me, to the biblical stories where they may have been troubled, some of them. They may have been troubled because they became awakened and realized that they have, whatever they're doing, they have a bigger purpose to serve. And of course, it could be extremely scary, right? And if you know that deep inside you, you have this inkling, but you don't know where it's coming from, you might want to come see somebody like Eva, because if you're hesitant, it could be you have a mineral imbalance that's causing the hesitation. And if you clear that up, then you open up a gateway to be able to receive the I'm going to say the divine wisdom as to what your purpose is. And then you're able to prepare yourself with like someone like Eva to get you ready for that journey. It may be the same thing that you're doing, but you might do it differently, right? Yes. Or it could be something completely different that would blow your mind if you're not ready to receive the information. So it's all about having your vessel ready, to receive. And Eva can help you do that. And there's so many different factors that can hinder that we don't even know about. But Eva can help you discover, do you have a blockage? Or do you just need to find a little adjustment? Are you in denial because of this? Or you're not really in denial, you're afraid because it's something so differently than what you're doing. You may have thought your purpose was this, and now you may have thought your purpose was not to have kids, and now your purpose is to have 10. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Well, in this day and age, you need to adopt but you know what I'm saying? And sometimes when that's revealed to us, it can be scary. And if we're not minerally balanced, if we're not, our mindset's not right, we struggle to receive it. And so we try to circumvent it. So Eva can help us with, figuring it out and getting on track and all of that good stuff. And I got to take one more break, and then we'll be right back to ask Eva our final question on the Blissful Living Show. Be right back. Okay, we are back to the Blissful Living Show, and I'm talking to Eva Vennari, and we're talking about living with a purpose. And so before we close out the show, Eva, I want to ask you to share this wisdom with the viewers and listeners that we have. When it comes to uncertainty, what is the number one thing that you suggest someone does when they come to that crossroads and they're really uncertain about which direction to go?
Yeah, it usually an uncertainty, an inability to make a decision means needing more information. That's typical. We usually get scared of things we don't know enough about, like sharks. Very scared of sharks, but once you get to know what they're all about, it's not so hard to slip into the water with the right ones. So It's knowledge is power, it really is. And this is finding those who are trustworthy to listen to. So find someone who has been where you are, has the results you want, and got there with the value system that you already have in common. And if you can do that, then you can get the information you need to make a decision. But don't make a decision in indecision. I call that the decision. Like if you can't make a decision, think about it. You go to the grocery store or you go to the shoe store. Go to the shoe store. There's 2 shoes and you're like, oh, I like them both. Which one do you love? Go with the love, right? Or if you can't make a decision, don't buy either. That's what I mean. Yeah, don't make a move without more information.
I love it. So I just want to thank you, Eva, for your time. You all, her show, in the show notes will be her information. You can reach out to her. Please, if you do reach out to her, let her know that you saw her or heard her on the Blissful Living Podcast, the show on the C-Suite Network, and that you want to learn more. You want to dive deep into what you're here for. Again, subscribe to the show, share this show with everyone you love and care about. The more we can get this information out, the better it is for our world that we live in today. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. If you're ready to get your mind, body, and your wealth right, then you want to check out Blissful Living for You. I want to thank All Day Cable Incorporated, the premier telecommunications installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley. And you can check them out at allday.cableinc.com. Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Blissful Living Podcast. I hope today's conversation inspired you to own your brilliance, honor your wellness, don't doubt what your life purpose is, and build your blissful empire from the inside out. Again, if you love the show, please share the show with everyone you love and care about. Subscribe and leave a glowing review so that other people can be incited to listen and watch the show. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can check out Eva's information in the show notes when it comes to living your purpose. And until next time, I want you all to keep living bold, blissfully, and unstoppably, because your life is fabulous. Sometimes, y'all, it's just a little bit challenging to get started. Until next time, keeping it real, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, saying goodbye for now.